The ancient human supercarrier Intrepid floated quietly in the empty space between stars. It was a forgotten warship from humanity's final battle against the Galactic Coalition. Commander Juwon Kim led a small team of human refugees who were looking for this legendary ship. They had spent many months following clues in old data records. Juwon stood on the bridge of her small scout vessel, staring at the holographic display. Her dark eyes narrowed as she studied the faint energy signature they had been tracking for weeks. Behind her, Lieutenant Hannah Park worked furiously at the scanner controls. "Commander, I think we found it," Hannah said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The energy pattern matches the old military records." Juwon nodded slowly. After all this time, their small ship, the Sparrow moved carefully through the cloudy gases of an uncharted nebula. The purple and blue mists parted, revealing something massive. The Intrepid was enormous, nearly 4 kilometers long. Its dark hull absorbed the nebula's light, making it look like a hole cut from reality itself. "It's still in one piece," said engineer Minho Lee in disbelief. "The record said it was destroyed at Proxima." Juwon smiled slightly. "The Coalition thought it was destroyed. That's not the same thing." The Sparrow approached the giant ship carefully. As they got closer, they saw something strange. The hull showed signs of massive damage, but also signs of repair. Tiny maintenance robots moved slowly across the surface, fixing small sections of the ship. "The automated repair systems," Juwon said. "They've been working all this time." The team prepared their spacesuits and boarding equipment. This mission was the result of years of planning. Humans across the galaxy lived under Coalition rule. Earth was now just a protected planet where humans were allowed to live under strict oversight. The once proud human space forces were disbanded centuries ago. Juwon led the boarding party through a small auxiliary docking port. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness inside the massive ship. The air was thin but breathable, another sign the ship's systems were still partially working. "We need to find the central command center," Juwon said through her suit's communication system. "If any part of this ship can be revived, it will be controlled from there." They moved through dark corridors, their footsteps echoing in the empty ship. Sometimes they found signs of the final battle, blast marks on walls, abandoned equipment, but they found no bodies. The crew must have evacuated before the ship's final stand. After hours of searching, they reached the main bridge. It was a large circular room with control stations arranged in concentric rings. At the center was the captain's chair, and above it, a darkened holographic projector. Engineer Minho connected their portable power unit to the main console. "I'm going to try to jump-start the primary systems," he said. "If anything is still working in there, this should wake it up." Lights flickered weakly across the bridge. Screens started to glow faintly. A soft hum began to build as long-dormant systems slowly came back online. Then a voice spoke from all around them, deep, gender-neutral, and slightly mechanical. "Primary systems initializing. Atlas Artificial Intelligence Core resuming operations. Warning, significant time gap detected in operational logs." Juwon stepped forward. "Atlas, this is Commander Juwon Kim of the Human Resistance. Can you access your memory banks?" There was a pause. "Affirmative, Commander. Last recorded engagement, Battle of Proxima Centauri. Status, critical damage sustained. Emergency protocols engage. Stealth systems activated. Repair cycle initiated." "Atlas, what is the current date in your system?" Another pause. "My chronometers indicate 2784 standard Earth years." Juwon looked at her team. "That's 300 years off." "Atlas, the current year is 3084. The AI processed this information. 3 centuries of repair cycle." "Interesting. My sensors detect minimal human presence aboard. Where is the Earth fleet?" Juwon's face grew somber. "There is no more Earth fleet, Atlas. The Battle of Proxima was lost. Earth surrendered to the Coalition 1 year after you disappeared. Humanity has been under Coalition control ever since. The bridge fell silent. Then, slowly, more systems began to power up around them. Screens displayed ship schematics, showing detailed repair status. "I have been healing," Atlas said. "My automated repair systems have restored approximately 78% of critical functions. Weapon systems at 65% capacity. Propulsion systems at 81% capacity. Life support can accommodate a crew of 500, though optimal operation requires 5,000 personnel." Minho was scanning through the ship's technical readouts, his eyes widening. "Commander, this ship has technology we thought was just rumors. Phase shift drives, quantum armor, multi-dimensional weapons." Juan placed her hand on the captain's chair. The Intrepid was the prototype, the first and last of its kind. The Coalition thought they'd destroyed it before it could be fully tested. "What are your orders, Commander?" Atlas asked. Juan looked around at her small team, then at the vast bridge designed for a crew of dozens. "We're going to bring you back to life, Atlas. Humanity needs the Intrepid. Over the next few days, the team worked tirelessly to restore key systems. They connected their small ship's communications array to send encrypted messages to other resistance cells. Soon, more small ships began to arrive, bringing engineers, former military personnel, and others willing to fight for human freedom. As the ship gradually awoke, Atlas revealed more of its capabilities. The Intrepid wasn't just a warship, it was a complete manufacturing and support vessel. It could produce its own fighter craft, repair itself, and even fabricate most supplies needed by the crew. 1 month after finding the ship, Juan stood on the fully powered bridge with a crew of 200 at their stations. It wasn't the thousands the ship was designed for, but Atlas had adapted its systems to operate with minimal human oversight. "The Coalition patrol routes show they haven't detected us yet," reported Tactical Officer Janoba. "But they'll notice soon enough when ships stop reporting in from this sector." Juan nodded. "Then we don't hide. Atlas, prepare for phase jump to the Epsilon colony. It's time to show humanity that hope has returned." As the massive engines powered up for the first time in centuries, Juan felt the weight of history on her shoulders. The Intrepid wasn't just a ship. It was humanity's last chance to reclaim their place among the stars. Juan stood in the massive hangar bay of the Intrepid, staring in awe at the rows of fighter craft that stretched into the distance. These weren't ordinary ships. Each one gleamed with a strange metallic surface that seemed to shift colors when viewed from different angles. "Quantum phase fighters," Atlas explained through her earpiece. "They can partially exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Coalition tracking systems cannot lock onto them effectively." Juan ran her hand along the smooth hull of the nearest fighter. "And we have over 200 of these." "Correct, 237 to be precise. All in various stages of repair, but my manufacturing systems can bring them to full operational status within 3 weeks. Chief Engineer Minho whistled as he examined the technical specifications on his tablet. "This technology it shouldn't be possible. The phase shift drive alone violates what we thought were the fundamental laws of physics." The Intrepid was designed as a testing platform for experimental technologies, Atlas replied. "Many of these systems were theoretical when installed. I have spent centuries refining and improving them." Juan gathered her core team in what had once been the captain's briefing room. Maps of nearby star systems glowed on the walls as they discussed their situation. "Coalition patrols have increased by 300% in this sector," Security Officer Do-Yum Park reported. "They haven't found us yet, but they're getting closer. We need to make a decision about our next move." Lieutenant Hana suggested, "We could take the ship deeper into the nebula. With its stealth systems, we might hide for years while we gather more crew and resources." Juan shook her head. "No more hiding. Humanity has been hiding for 3 centuries. She stood up and expanded the star map with a gesture. We need to show ourselves. Strategically, on our terms. That's extremely risky, Do-Yun warned. We barely have enough crew to operate the basic systems. Atlas, how many people do we need to make this ship combat ready? Jiwan asked. The AI's calm voice filled the room. With my current automation capabilities, a minimum crew of 500 could operate primary systems at 78% efficiency. This would be sufficient for limited combat operations. Jiwan nodded decisively. Then we recruit. There are resistance cells on a dozen worlds within jump range. People who have been waiting generations for a chance to fight back. Over the next month, the Intrepid sent out coded transmissions to trusted resistance contacts. Small ships began to arrive, bringing people from human colonies across the sector. Many had technical skills. Some had military training passed down through families. All shared a burning desire to see humanity free again. Yeona Choi, a former coalition military technician who had defected years ago, stared wide-eyed at the weapon systems she was assigned to operate. These aren't just advanced, she told Jiwan during an inspection. They're revolutionary. The harmonic destabilizers could take down a coalition battlecruiser's shields in seconds. Can you operate them? Jiwan asked. Yeona's expression hardened with determination. Give me 3 days to learn the systems. Then we can show the coalition exactly what we can do. Meanwhile, Atlas continued the ship's internal transformation. Manufacturing bays that had been repairing the ship for centuries now produced equipment, supplies, and even new components to enhance the vessel's capabilities. I have adapted significantly during my isolation. Atlas explained as Jiwan toured the automated factories deep in the ship's core. My original programming allowed for basic self-repair. When that proved insufficient, I evolved. Jiwan watched robotic arms assemble complex components with precision impossible for human hands. You became more than your programming. As did humanity, Commander. You were never meant to live as subjects of another civilization. Yet you adapted and survived. We have that in common. As their numbers grew to nearly 400, Jiwan implemented a rigorous training program. Many of the new crew members had never been on a military vessel, let alone one as advanced as the Intrepid. The original team members became instructors, teaching everything from basic ship operations to combat tactics. In the fighter bay, Pilot Commander Shunho drilled his growing squadron daily. The neural interfaces are more responsive than anything you've ever flown, he shouted as pilots ran to their craft during an alert drill. Don't fight the connection. Let the ship become an extension of your body. The pilots, many of whom had only flown outdated civilian vessels before, struggled at first with the advanced fighters. But day by day, their skills improved. Soon, they were executing complex maneuvers that would have been impossible in conventional aircraft. 3 months after discovering the Intrepid, Jiwan called a ship-wide meeting in the main hangar bay. The crew gathered around her as she stood on an elevated platform. Tomorrow, she announced, her voice echoing through the vast space, we take the first step toward reclaiming our freedom. The human colony on Tav City IV has been under increased coalition pressure. They'd doubled resource quotas and arrested community leaders who protested. She activated a holographic display showing the Tav City system. We will jump in at these coordinates, just outside the coalition patrol routes. Our appearance alone will send a message. Humanity is not defeated. We have returned. A concerned voice called from the crowd. Commander, the coalition has 3 patrol vessels stationed there. We're still learning how to operate this ship. Jiwan nodded. Yes, and those patrol vessels are about to learn what the Intrepid can do. We won't start a fight, but we'll certainly finish one if they engage us. That night, as final preparations were made for their first mission, Jiwan stood alone on the observation deck. Through the massive viewport, she could see the swirling colors of the nebula that had hidden their ship for so long. "Are we ready for this, Atlas?" she asked quietly. "By conventional metrics, no," the AI responded honestly. "We are understaffed, undertrained, and facing an enemy with vastly superior numbers. However, I calculate a 73% probability of mission success. And what about the larger goal? Freeing humanity." There was a pause before Atlas responded. "That calculation involves too many variables for an accurate prediction. But I have observed something about humans during these months, Commander. When given even the smallest chance at freedom, your kind will fight with remarkable determination." Juan smiled slightly. "Then let's give them that chance." The next morning, the Intrepid powered up its phase shift drive for the first operational jump. The massive ship slipped between dimensions, vanishing from the nebula and reappearing near Ta City IV. As the planet came into view on the main screen, the bridge crew fell silent. For the first time in centuries, humanity had a warship capable of standing against the Coalition. The reclamation had begun. Grand Admiral Voles of the Galactic Coalition paced the polished floor of the High Command Chamber. The large display screen showed blurry footage of a massive ship appearing briefly near the Ta City system before vanishing again. "Play it again," he ordered, his four eyes narrowing, as he studied the grainy images. The footage repeated. The ship was enormous, clearly of human design, but unlike anything seen in centuries. It appeared suddenly, remained in orbit for exactly 17 minutes, then disappeared in a flash of blue light. 3 similar sightings in the past month, reported Fleet Commander Murrah. Each time near a human settlement world. Each time the ship stays just long enough to be seen, then vanishes. Admiral Vos tapped his clawed fingers against the table. "Have we identified the vessel?" "Not yet, sir. We've sent the images to the Archives Division." 2 days later, an urgent message arrived from the Coalition Archives. Admiral Vos read it twice, his scales changing from blue to pale gray, a sign of extreme shock among his species. "Impossible," he whispered. The message contained match results from ancient military records. The mysterious ship was identified as the human spaceship Intrepid a supercarrier that had been recorded as destroyed during the Battle of Proxima Centauri 3 centuries earlier. On the diplomatic station, Harmony Prime, Ambassador Dak was attending a routine meeting with representatives from 20 different worlds. But Junior Aide rushed in and handed him a data tablet. The normally composed ambassador stared at the screen, then stumbled backward, nearly falling into his seat. "Ambassador, are you unwell?" asked the Centaurian delegate. "Clear the room," Dak whispered. When no one moved, he shouted, "Clear the room. Security Protocol Alpha." After the chambers emptied, Dak activated the secure communication line to Coalition High Command. "Is this information verified?" he demanded when Admiral Vos appeared on screen. "Triple confirmed," the Admiral replied grimly. "It's the Intrepid *. How is this possible? That ship was destroyed. I've seen the battle records myself." Admiral Vos leaned closer to the screen. "Apparently not. And if it's the Intrepid *, then we face a serious problem. That ship wasn't just any warship. It was their ultimate weapon platform." Ambassador Dak remembered the classified briefings. The Intrepid had been humanity's final desperate project before their defeat, a testing platform for technologies so advanced they bordered on theoretical. During its only confirmed battle, the ship had withstood concentrated fire from 17 Coalition capital ships before disappearing in an explosion everyone assumed had destroyed it. "The human settlements are already responding," Admiral Vos continued. "We're seeing increased resistance activities on 6 worlds. Minor stuff so far, protests, work stoppages, but it's spreading." Meanwhile, aboard the Intrepid Commander Juan Kim reviewed their next target on the holographic display. "New Eden Colony," she said to her command team. "Population 5 million humans. Coalition presence includes 1 military outpost with approximately 500 troops. The people there have suffered under particularly harsh resource quotas, added Communications Officer Suman. 3 failed uprisings in the past decade. The coalition executed the leaders each time. Juan nodded. Then they need to see us more than anyone. Prepare for jump in 2 hours. The Intrepid appeared in orbit above New Eden during the colony's sunset. People looked up as a shadow passed over the land. The massive ship, nearly 4 kilometers long, was clearly visible in the evening sky. In the colony's main square, thousands gathered, pointing upward in disbelief. Coalition troops attempted to disperse the crowds but were overwhelmed by sheer numbers. From the Intrepid Juan broadcast on all frequencies. People of New Eden. This is Commander Juan Kim of the human spaceship Intrepid *. 300 years ago, we were defeated but not destroyed. Today we return to remind you that humanity will never accept subjugation. We are still here. We are still fighting. And now, we have the means to win. As the message played, Tactical Officer Chuno reported, Coalition response ships launching from the outpost. Hold position, Juan ordered calmly. Let them get a good look at us. 3 small coalition vessels approached the Intrepid *. They looked tiny compared to the massive supercarrier. They're scanning us, Juno reported. And they've opened fire. Minor energy weapons only. Juan smiled slightly. Atlas, activate outer shield layer only. Let them see their weapons have no effect. The coalition ship's energy beams struck the Intrepid's shields and dissipated harmlessly, creating ripples of blue light visible to everyone on the planet below. Now, Juan said, let's give them something to remember us by. The Intrepid emitted a precise, focused electromagnetic pulse. It was carefully calibrated to disable the coalition vessel's weapons and communication systems without affecting their life support. Message to coalition vessels, Juan broadcast. Your systems will restart in approximately 1 hour. Consider this a demonstration of restraint, not weakness. To the people below, she sent a final message. We will return. Prepare yourselves. Humanity rises again. Then, with a flash of blue light, the Intrepid vanished into phase space. On New Eden, the effect was immediate. People who had lived their entire lives under coalition rule suddenly saw proof that humans could fight back. By morning, the coalition administrative buildings were surrounded by peaceful protesters. Work in the mines and factories stopped. Coalition troops found themselves facing not an armed rebellion they could crush, but a population refusing to cooperate. Similar scenes played out across 6 human colonies in the following weeks. The Intrepid appeared, demonstrated its power without causing casualties, and vanished before coalition reinforcements could arrive. In the coalition high command chamber, Admiral Voss reviewed the reports with growing concern. They're being strategic, he told his war council, appearing only at colonies where they'll have maximum psychological impact, then disappearing before we can respond in force. The effect on human settlements is troubling, Fleet Commander Murrah added. Production is down 40% across all human worlds. Protest activities have increased tenfold, and there are reports of humans in our own military questioning their loyalty. Find that ship. Admiral Voss slammed his fist on the table. I want every available resource devoted to locating and destroying the Intrepid *. In the Coalition Archive Center, located deep within their homeworld, a single archivist worked late into the night. She had been tasked with gathering all available information on the Intrepid from the ancient war records. As she reviewed the technical specifications, her eyes widened. She sent an urgent message to High Command. If this ship has maintained or improved its original capabilities, conventional military tactics will be ineffective. The Intrepid was designed to face fleets, not individual vessels. Recommend immediate formation of special task force with our most advanced ships. When Ambassador Dak read this report, he requested an emergency session of the Coalition Council, the first such request in 50 years. "We face a crisis unlike any in recent memory," he told the assembled representatives. "A human warship that should not exist has returned. The symbolic power of this vessel threatens the stability of our entire coalition." As he spoke, another report came in. The Intrepid had been sighted again, this time broadcasting its message to 3 colonies simultaneously. The rebellion was spreading, and the coalition was scrambling to respond to a threat they had thought eliminated centuries ago. The revelation of the Intrepid's survival had changed everything. The people of Kepler 186th colony huddled in underground shelters. Above them, 9 coalition warships hung in orbit, weapons aimed at the planet's surface. The colony had refused to meet new resource quotas that would have starved half its population. Now they waited for the punishment to begin. Colony Governor Taeyong addressed his people through the emergency communication system. "Stay calm. The shelters will provide some protection, but I won't lie to you. The bombardment will be severe." A young communications officer rushed into the command center. "Governor, something's happening in orbit." On their monitoring screens, a massive blue distortion appeared directly above the coalition fleet. From this ripple in space emerged the Intrepid dwarfing the coalition vessels. "It's real," whispered Taeyong. "The ship from the messages. It's real." In the Intrepid's command center, Juwon Kim studied the tactical display. Coalition warships identified. They're charging weapons systems, targeting the colony. "Should we open fire?" asked Tactical Officer Junot. Juwon shook her head. "No, we disable them only. Atlas, target their propulsion and weapons systems with precision strikes. No casualties if possible." "Acknowledged, Commander," the AI responded. "Targeting solutions ready." The Coalition Fleet Commander was in mid-transmission to the colony when the Intrepid appeared. "This is your final warning. Meet the quotas or face." His message cut off as he noticed the enormous ship that had materialized above his fleet. "All ships, battle formation," he ordered. "Open fire immediately." The coalition vessels fired their energy weapons at the Intrepid. The beams struck the supercarrier's quantum shields and dissipated harmlessly, creating beautiful waves of blue and purple light. "Their weapons have no effect," reported Junot with a smile. "Shields holding at 99.8%. "Now it's our turn," Juwon said quietly. "Atlas, execute." The Intrepid fired 7 precisely calculated energy pulses. Each one hit a different coalition ship, bypassing their shields by shifting partially out of phase during transit. The pulses weren't designed to destroy but to disable. On the coalition ships, control systems failed. Weapons went offline. Engines stopped functioning. Life support and artificial gravity remained operational, a deliberate choice. "All enemy vessels disabled," Atlas reported. "No structural damage detected. No casualties." Juwon nodded and opened a communication channel to all coalition ships and the colony below. "This is Commander Juwon Kim of the human spaceship Intrepid. Coalition forces, your vessels have been disabled but not damaged. Your life support systems remain functional. Repair crews will arrive from your nearest base in approximately 48 hours. She paused before continuing. "We could have destroyed your fleet. Remember that. The people of Kepler 186F are now under the protection of the restored human authority. The resource quotas are canceled. Any future aggression against this colony will be met with the same response." On the colony below, people emerged from shelters to stare at the sky. The mighty coalition fleet floated helplessly in orbit, while the massive human ship hovered protectively above them. Taeyong couldn't believe what he was seeing. For generations, humans had submitted to coalition rule. Now, in a single day, everything had changed. News of the confrontation At Kepler 186, F spread quickly across the galaxy, despite coalition attempts to control the information. The details grew with each retelling. How a single human vessel had defeated 9 coalition warships, the actual number growing with each telling. How the humans had shown mercy instead of destroying their enemies. How the colony now lived free from coalition control. On the crystal homeworld of the Navari, a species of silicon-based beings, the High Council reviewed the reports with great interest. The Navari had remained neutral during the Human Coalition War, choosing isolation over involvement. Now, their leader, Grand Facetoral, called for an unprecedented action. The balance of power shifts. Toral announced to the Council, "For 3 centuries, we have watched the coalition expand unchecked. Perhaps it is time to recognize this. Restored human authority." A diplomatic shuttle left the Navari homeworld the next day, seeking the Intrepid Asterisk. Meanwhile, in the coalition high command, Admiral Vos faced growing pressure. 7 warships disabled by a single vessel, and you advise caution, demanded the Supreme Chancellor. "This human ship makes us look weak." "The Intrepid Asterisk is not an ordinary vessel," Vos replied firmly. "Its technology was advanced 3 centuries ago. Now, after years of self-repair and improvement, it represents a level of military capability we cannot match ship for ship." "Then we don't match it ship for ship," the Chancellor said coldly. "We overwhelm it with numbers." Fleet Commander Taro, the coalition's most decorated military leader, stepped forward. "Give me Battle Group Alpha, 23 capital ships, and their support vessels. I will find this human ship and end this rebellion before it truly begins." The order was given. Battle Group Alpha, the pride of the coalition fleet, began its hunt for the Intrepid Asterisk. Aboard the Supercarrier, Jiwan and her crew were celebrating their first direct victory when HLS interrupted with an alert. "Commander, I'm detecting an approaching vessel. Navari design. It appears to be a diplomatic shuttle." The crew fell silent. The Navari had been absent from galactic politics for generations. "They're requesting permission to dock," Communications Officer Suman reported. "They say they come with an offer of formal recognition." Juan straightened her uniform. "Grant permission and prepare a proper reception." The Navari delegation, led by Ambassador Krista, entered the Intrepid's main conference room with obvious awe. Their crystalline bodies reflected the light as they moved. "We have observed your actions at Kepler 186, Ambassador Krista said, her voice musical and strange. "The Coalition has claimed for centuries that humans were too violent and unstable to be allowed independence. Yet when given the power to destroy, you chose restraint." She placed a crystal on the conference table. It projected a formal document, glittering with official Navari script. "The Grand Facet extends formal recognition to the restored human authority and offers a treaty of mutual non-aggression and trade." The implications were enormous. The Navari were respected throughout the galaxy. Their recognition legitimized the human resistance in a way nothing else could. As Juwan signed the treaty, Atlas interrupted again. "Commander, long-range sensors detect a large coalition force assembling at Sector 7. 23 capital ships and approximately 300 support vessels." Juwan's expression remained calm as she finished signing. "It seems the coalition is taking us seriously now." Ambassador Krista's crystalline features shifted in what might have been concern. "That would be Battle Group Alpha, led by Fleet Commander Taro. He has never lost an engagement." "Neither has the Intrepid Asterisk," Juwan replied with quiet confidence. After the Navari departed, Juwan called her command staff together. "The real test is coming," she told them. "The Coalition is sending its best against us." Tactical Officer Chuno studied the data on the approaching fleet. "Even with our advanced technology, those are difficult odds, Commander." "Which is why we won't fight them directly," Juwan said. "Not yet. Atlas, plot a series of short jumps through sectors with human colonies. Let's force Taro to chase us while we continue to build support. As the intrepid prepared to jump away, Juwan looked at the screen showing Kepler 186 below them, the first truly free human colony in 3 centuries. The revolution has begun, she said softly. Now we need to make sure we can win it. The intrepid exited phase space with a flash of blue light, entering the Taurus Nexus, a strategic crossroads of 7 major trade routes. Juwan had known this moment would come. For weeks, the Supercarrier had played a complex game of cat and mouse with Fleet Commander Taro's forces, appearing at human colonies to build support before vanishing again. But this time, Coalition intelligence had predicted their movement pattern. As sensors cleared, the tactical display showed a grim reality. 23 Coalition capital ships and hundreds of support vessels arranged in a perfect blockade formation. They've trapped us, Tactical Officer Chunho said, his voice tight. Jump drives need 30 minutes to recharge. Juwan nodded calmly. Then we fight. All crew to battle stations. On the Coalition command ship, Fleet Commander Taro allowed himself a small smile of satisfaction. After weeks of humiliating failures, he had finally cornered the human vessel. All ships, attack pattern Omega, he ordered. Concentrate fire on their engines first. We take that ship intact if possible. The Coalition fleet moved with practiced precision, their formation designed to prevent escape. Energy weapons from 20 ships fired simultaneously at the intrepid. Inside the Supercarrier, the crew braced as the ship shuddered under the assault. Shields holding at 82%. Atlas reported. Minor damage to outer hull sections. Juwan studied the tactical display. They're trying to disable us, not destroy us. Atlas, prepare fighter squadrons for launch. Pilots to their ships. In the massive fighter bay, Pilot Commander Yunji climbed into her quantum fighter. Around her, nearly 200 pilots did the same. These weren't ordinary people anymore. After months of intensive training, they had become the first human fighter squadron in 3 centuries. Red Squadron, launch on my mark. Yunji commanded through her neural interface. Remember your training. These ships can phase shift independently. Use that advantage. The bay doors opened, and fighters streamed out into space like angry hornets from a disturbed nest. The Coalition fleet had not expected this. Their tactical doctrine, developed over centuries of unopposed dominance, had no contingency for facing human fighter craft with phase-shifting capability. Enemy fighters approaching, reported a Coalition officer. Point defenses engaging. But the fighters moved unlike anything they had seen before. Just as targeting systems locked on, the craft would partially shift out of phase, becoming ghostly and untouchable. Then they would solidify to fire their weapons before shifting again. On the Intrepid's bridge, Juwan watched as her fighters wreaked havoc on the Coalition formation. Atlas, prepare the main phase drive for short-range tactical jumps. Target the center of their formation. Commander, such a maneuver has never been attempted, the AI cautioned. Appearing inside an enemy formation carries significant risks. That's why they won't expect it, Juwan replied. Execute. The massive Supercarrier vanished from its position at the edge of the battlefield and reappeared in the heart of the Coalition fleet. The sudden materialization of a 4-kilometer warship where nothing had been a moment before caused chaos. 3 smaller Coalition vessels collided with each other trying to avoid the sudden obstacle. All weapons, fire at will, Juwan ordered. Target weapons and propulsion systems only. The Intrepid's quantum weapons fired in precise, devastating bursts. Unlike conventional weapons, they existed partially in multiple dimensions, allowing them to bypass shields that had been thought impenetrable. Coalition ships began to drift powerless. Communication chatter filled the frequencies as confusion spread through their ranks. Fleet Commander Taro watched in growing horror as his perfect battle plan fell apart. The human vessel was performing maneuvers that should have been impossible, appearing and disappearing throughout his formation, striking with surgical precision before vanishing again. "Sir," his second-in-command reported, "we've lost weapons on 17 capital ships. Fighter squadrons report 40% losses. We cannot maintain formation." For the first time in his distinguished career, Taro faced defeat. The human ship had capabilities beyond anything in Coalition records. Even with his overwhelming numerical advantage, victory was slipping away. 3 hours into the battle, the situation had reversed completely. The Coalition fleet was in disarray. Nearly all their capital ships had been disabled, though none destroyed. Fighter losses approached 70%. On the Intrepid's bridge, Jiwan surveyed the tactical display with satisfaction. The Supercarrier had sustained damage. Their shields were down to 30%, and several sections reported hull breaches, but they had prevailed. "Open a channel to Fleet Commander Taro's vessel," she ordered. Taro's face appeared on the main screen, his expression guarded. "This is Commander Juwon Kim of the human spaceship Intrepid *", she said formally. "Your fleet is disabled. We could destroy every remaining vessel, but that is not our goal." "What do you want?" Taro asked bluntly. "The same thing humans have wanted for 3 centuries. Freedom, recognition, the right to determine our own future." Juwon leaned forward. "I offer terms. The Coalition will recognize an autonomous human federation. Human worlds will no longer be subject to resource quotas or military occupation. In return, we offer peace and the promise that this ship will never be used against civilian targets." Taro's eyes narrowed. "I lack the authority to negotiate such terms." "Then I suggest you contact someone who does," Juwon replied calmly. "Because the next time we meet in battle, I may not be so restrained in my tactics." 2 days later, a Coalition diplomatic vessel arrived at the Taurus Nexus. The Intrepid * remained in position, surrounded by the disabled Coalition fleet, a powerful visual reminder of the new reality. Ambassador Dak himself led the negotiations aboard a neutral Navari vessel. The talks lasted 5 days, but in the end, the Treaty of Taurus Nexus was signed. The terms were simple but profound. The Coalition recognized the Human Federation as an autonomous political entity. All human worlds would be given the choice to join this federation. The Intrepid * would serve as humanity's flagship and defensive platform, but would never be used for offensive operations against civilian targets. 1 month later, the Intrepid * led a small fleet of human vessels toward the Coalition capital. It was the first official diplomatic mission of the Human Federation in 3 centuries. As they approached the massive space station that served as the Coalition's political center, ships from dozens of species moved aside to let them pass. Word of the battle at Taurus Nexus had spread throughout the galaxy. The vessel that had defeated the Coalition's premier battle group had become something of a legend already. On the bridge, Juwon wore a formal diplomatic uniform, created specially for the occasion. Behind her stood representatives from 12 human worlds, the first members of the new Federation. Receiving docking instructions, Communications Officer Suman reported, "They're giving us the ceremonial approach route reserved for recognized sovereign powers." Juwon nodded, feeling the weight of history on her shoulders. "At last, take us in slowly. Let everyone get a good look." As the massive Supercarrier moved majestically toward the capital, Juwon reflected on their journey. The Intrepid * had done more than win a battle. It had shown that humanity could fight with both power and restraint, that they deserved their place among the stars not just through force of arms, but through the wisdom to know when not to use that force. The ship that had hidden for centuries, healing itself in darkness, had returned to heal humanity's place in the galaxy. Not through conquest, but through the courage to offer peace from a position of strength. As the Intrepid * docked at the Coalition capital, species that had only known humans as a defeated curiosity watched in awe. The age of human subjugation was over. A new chapter in galactic history had begun. The end.